This is the Mohsin Mortgage Program with Sara Mohsin. Mohsin Mortgage is licensed in several states for residential and commercial purchases and refinancing. Call 800-662-9550. And now, here's your host, Sara Mohsin.
It's Monday, folks. It's great to be back here again. And as I've said, please ask the question. And I know I repeat myself over and over on this, but I'll tell you what. I've had our listeners, Pat, who have said, thank you for repeating some of these things because it does help. It reminds me, it allows me to be diligent about keeping my mortgage payments current for 12 months and then getting to the point where we can get you refinanced. So it's all good, right?
It sure is. And I don't think you can say that enough, Sara, about that would be the one thing that would prevent you from being able to do a refi or maybe buy another house is if you have not kept your mortgage payment current for the past year. And it doesn't mean if it's due on the 1st, it has to be in the lender's hand on the 1st, right, Sara?
Right. It just has to be within that month. Payment.
Yeah. So if you're down on your luck, and a lot of people are, and you're trying to decide, what to pay on, keep your mortgage up to date and call Sara. If things are tight, call Sara, say, things are really tight, what can you do for me? And you'll be very pleasantly surprised. Sara has dealt with every aspect of folks in different situations and has been able to come up with a very unique and creative, customized program for them. Right, Sara?
Yes. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that we have to understand the dynamics of the loan that we currently hold, which is you look at your mortgage payment or statement, you look at the payment structure, you look at the rate, and the rest we can do for you. We'll put together the proposal, we'll tell you the savings, and we will submit it to 50 wholesale lenders. You only pull your credit once. You don't pay us for the services. The lender pays us, and we watch the market daily. So we are taking sort of charge of the situation to make sure your interests are protected. Versus if you're going to multiple parties, they will pull your credit multiple times. And that's what's happened in the past, Pat, and it does drop your score. And sometimes people don't realize this. It drops it to the point where they cannot refinance by the time that they've shopped around themselves.
That's amazing to me, Sara, that just because somebody else. So if you reply to one of those teaser rates you see on television or in the newspaper or on the internet, and you give them your information, they're going to pull your credit, right?
Right. They're going to. I mean, this is a fact. I've had so many conversations with our listeners because we are in multiple states. We're on the air in 3 of the states, in California and Massachusetts and Florida, and in multiple stations with Salem Christian Radio. And what's happened is our listeners are great. They're all about learning and getting the research done. Unfortunately, in some cases, they are very much in a position where they don't realize that if you're giving out information to 2 or 3 or 4 people because you want to get the best opportunity or option, you're going to get your credit pulled multiple times and not necessarily get the best information. For us, we have the track record. We pull credit once. We opt you out from anyone else soliciting you, and then our 50 wholesale lenders will review your file, and then we get you the rate that the dream rate that you're looking for because the market shifts daily.
Sara, I just want to circle back for a second with something you were just talking about, and we've talked about it before, is that when you call these teaser rates that you might see on the television or on the internet, and once you give them your information and they pull your credit, how much percentage could that affect your credit rating?
Drop from 30 to 40 points. And I mean, this is the scenario where, and we've seen this happen, where I think that it's really great to be taking charge of refinancing your mortgage. And I do believe that people get attracted to teaser rates and they feel that, oh, well, this is going to be a bargain. But the reality is that we're in the whole process of banking and finances. So because of our track record, Pat, you're with Salem Radio Boston. You work with them. You're the general manager, so you can vouch for us on the work that we've done in the past. So I think it's great to be bargain hunting for items that are milk and eggs and clothing, etc. But when it comes to finance, we have had conversations where people have had their credit pulled by multiple lenders because they've talk to them, and a lot of these lenders may have people that are more in the sales business and they're commission based because they're so large, and the information that is provided is bad information. So as your credit scores drop because you've gone to multiple places, you are jeopardizing your possibility of getting a better rate as well as getting refinanced. So I'm only encouraging folks to call us to know that we will, and I promise you, we will go from beginning to end with you throughout that process. And we're not in the sales business. That's why we've always said, if you're interested in working together as a team to get your reduced rate, we will do that. We're not competing against anybody except ourselves, because it's important for us to continue doing the good work that we have done. And you can hear those testimonials on our Facebook page, Mohsin Mortgage Facebook, and hear it for yourself. These are listeners that have sat with me in the studio and chatted about the process. So faith, trust, and understanding the fact that we will opt you out from anyone contacting you. We pull credit. We get to the 50 wholesale lenders who will give you the lowest rate. And at the end of the day, the lender pays us, so you're not paying us for the process.
So again, just be so cautious, folks, of those teaser rates that you might see. I mean, I saw one coming over the internet to me yesterday, and I forwarded it to you, Sarah, and I said, here's another one of those teaser rates. It was something ridiculous, like 1 point something percent, but when you look at the fine print of it, you find out that's not going to end up being the case at all.
Right, and I mean, at the end of the day, I've said it, I'm going to have my good friend Glenn Meekum on the air. He's a radio personality, but he's also starting a new company called Forever, technology company. And it's all about protection of your information, and it's similar to Facebook, but it's better because it protects your information. And the whole thing of when you are working towards making sure that your listeners are taken care of, the big part of it is there has to be a benefit to them when you're refinancing your property. That's just the guidelines, banking guidelines. So we make sure that there's a benefit to the borrower firstly. And most importantly, teaser rates. I mean, they're all over. You can watch the news, you can hear the TV commercials, and people will say what they have to say because they don't have anything to lose. We are here to be of service to make sure that we can continue doing the good work that we have done. And if you're ready to move forward, if you want to work with us and feel that it is necessary to get the proper care that you need to get refinanced, believe me, we'll do the work and we'll definitely protect your interests. And remember, we are at 50-year lows.
And with that said, just a reminder, the teaser rate people, and Sarah, I know you were being rather humble there. They're a breed of people often, not always, but often, they sort of just come in and come through and they do their salesy thing, and they're not interested in building relationships and really finding out what it is that your passion is, what your vision is, what you hope to accomplish. Well, the Mohsin Mortgage folks, they're the real deal. They sincerely want to hear what is your vision. They want to hear where you're struggling and where they can help you, and they will customize something for you. And if they can't help you immediately when you call into them at 1-800-662-9550, 24/7, if they can't help you right there and then, they will put a plan together to show you. You need to go back and do this and do some credit repairing or do some, and Sarah will guide you along until you are ready. And I'm on my 5th year with Sara, and I have seen many, many people's lives turned around and coming into financial fitness. And there's nothing better than that, is there, Sara?
There isn't, because it just gives you those options and it gives you a sense of relief. And we've chatted about this, Pat. There was a 1,200% increase in anxiety and anxiety medications, and it's really based a lot on your finances.
And that can make all sorts of marriages. It can destroy marriages. It can take the sleep away from you. It can cause you to be working 2 and 3 jobs, which affects the quality of your family life. Just so many things. So if you're there now, you don't have to stay there forever. The Bible says this too will pass, but God means for us to take the action that we have within our abilities to take the action on. So, and Marita's kind of telling me it's time to wind up here, Sara. So I just want to remind folks to check out Mohsin Mortgage Facebook and call 24/7, a free phone call, 1-800-662-9550.
Well, folks.
This has been the Mohsin Mortgage Program with Sara Mohsin. Mohsin Mortgage is licensed in several states for residential and commercial purchases and refinancing. Call 800-662-9550.